good, everybody? Welcome to the channel. Welcome to the Talking Sports with Manny YouTube channel. Today, I'm going to be giving you guys 4 shows in one. So if you're listening to the audio, you're just going to get what you guys need to get. Like I'm doing Commanders, I'm doing several different topics on this episode. So we're going to kick things off with the Commanders. Commanders getting the big win versus the Patriots. And we're going to talk a lot more about Sam Howell as the show goes on. Man, Sam Howell has looked great so far this year, and I'm excited for it. There was a lot of doubts about having a guy who is a former fifth round pick, and when you hear that draft status, it kind of scares people away. Can this 5th round pick really become a franchise quarterback? We're going to get into Sam Howell in a minute, but the Commanders defeat the Patriots 20-17. And it was a game that was tough, and the rookies stepped up big for the Commanders. So I'm happy for that. But when you look at the totality of the game, Sam Howell threw the ball 45 times. Now, it's not always ideal to have your quarterback throw the ball 45 times. Sometimes you want to kind of get some balance. What's good, Time Out Sports? Yeah, we're going to talk about that a little bit later on in the show. Like I said, 4 shows in one. We're going to talk about it. Don't you worry about that. We're going to get there. We're going to get to that comment. But yeah, Sam Howell threw the ball 45 times, 325 yards passing, 1 touchdown, 1 INT. Sam had a perfect game, a near perfect game. What I didn't like was that interception in the end zone. And we're going to talk about that. He was sacked 3 times. But all the sacks were not on the offensive line. I believe some of those sacks were on Sam Howell, extending plays, looking down the field, trying to create something out of nothing. Sometimes I just want Sam to throw away the ball. He would be sacked far less if he throws away the ball. But shout out to Eric Bieniemy. He's been, creating opportunities for Sam to get the ball out of his hands pretty quick. And then Sam throws a lot of completions. We're going to get to Sam's stats in a minute. Overall in the league right now. But yeah, Sam gets the ball out of his hands quickly, and it's due to EB dialing up plays that could get the ball out of Sam's hands quicker. Brian Robinson, believe it or not, had one of his better games of the season. I mean, 18 carries, 63 yards. It's not the greatest thing, but he did have a rushing touchdown. Brian Robinson is literally money from the goal line. He's our top scorer this year, and he's going to continue to score. But the 18 carries for 63 yards, 3.5 yards per carry, that's not good. That needs to improve. I did like that he got 18 carries, though, because the balance has to be there. The Commanders threw the ball 45 times. They ran the ball 29 times. So it's not like they weren't running the ball. Antonio Gibson came up big. He had 6 carries for 34 yards, 5.7 yards per carry, and then he was also used in the passing game. 5 receptions, 42 yards. Antonio Gibson was big. One thing that I love about Sam Howell is that he's going to spread the ball. He's going to get the ball to everybody that needs to get the ball. Sam Howell does not just lock in on one guy. Here are the target distribution for this game. Sam Howell had 7 targets to Terry McLaurin, 8 targets to Jahan Dotson, 4 to Pringle, 5 to Antonio Gibson, 4 to De'Ami Brown, 6 to Logan Thomas. Jamison Crowder had 6 targets, and then, of course, Brian Robinson with 2 and John Bates with 2. So out of his 44 targets, he was able to spread the ball, and that's what you want to see. Although he had 45 pass attempts, I guess 1 was a throwaway. The other 44 were targets to his several different wide receivers. Terry McLaurin led the way in yards with 73 yards out of 5 receptions, averaged 14.6 per catch, which is great. I love when Terry's involved. Terry needs 7 to 10 targets a game regardless. And then I'm loving that there's a connection that's building between Sam Howell and Jahan Dotson. 4 receptions, 69 yards, and a score. In your fantasy teams, which we're going to get later on in the show, on your fantasy teams, you want to make sure that you have Jahan Dotson rolling. He's starting to build a rapport with Sam Howell, and he's very close to his career high in catches. I think 2 more catches gives him a career high with 37. It's not saying a lot, but last year we realized that Jahan Dotson didn't get a lot of targets, but he maximized his targets. I think he's on pace for about a possible 70 to 75 catch season this year, and that's great, especially with the quick pass game. You're going to have a lot of receivers get a lot of receptions in this offense, so it's good. It's good for PPR fantasy, but the quick pass game, I'm loving to see guys like Byron Pringle step up big. He looks apart. He looks like our third best wide receiver, especially with Curtis Samuel being gone. De'Ami Brown, man, the guy just has too many drops for my liking. Man, I don't know about De'Ami Brown after this season, to be honest. Antonio Gibson, he was big in the passing game. He literally caught all of his targets. He's one of those guys where if you throw it, he's going to catch it. And when he catches it, he's going to make plays. And that's kind of how we want to see Antonio Gibson. He's another guy that I don't think comes back next season. But we're not worried about next season. We're worried about the right now. Logan Thomas, I was very wrong about Logan Thomas this season. I want to apologize. Mr. Logan Thomas, if you're watching the show, I apologize. Logan Thomas has been good. He's been solid. He's been really, really good in real life and fantasy. So he's back to relevance. He's a reliable target. And my whole thing with Logan Thomas was his health. When he's healthy, we know what Logan Thomas can do. And he's looked good. Jamison Crowder has been a huge surprise. Big game last week and had a modest game this week. But yeah, the passing game was humming. The running game was okay. The running game did just enough to help the Commanders win. Jamin Davis led the team with tackles with 9. Kendall Fuller, Cameron Curl, who leads the entire team with tackles, played a solid game. Khaleke Hudson, I love to see him out there more than Mayo. We need to figure this whole linebacking group. Something is just not adding up. We just need linebackers moving forward. And I think with the new coach coming in next year, I think no matter what happens, unless the Commanders win the Super Bowl, I think that Ron Rivera's gone. Ron Rivera is going to be gone, and there's going to be a new coach taking over. I hate to keep going into the future, but you kind of have to do that based off of where we are right now. We're 4-5. We don't know if we're going to be a playoff team or not. We're just right in the middle, and we could fight for that wild card. We're going to talk about the next 6 games for the Commanders, and you guys let me know which games are winnable. You know, I had a tweet on Twitter, and they were laughing because I said, I believe in the next 6 games, we could go 5-1. I would hope that we go 4-2, but we most likely go 3-3 just because it's the Commanders. And sadly, it might just be 2-4. That's just who the Commanders are. When you put your hopes in the Commanders, they let you down. You put your hopes in, they let you down. That's just what the Commanders have done all season. Quan Martin sealed the game with an interception. Young rookie. A lot of the rookies stepped up for the Commanders on Sunday, and it was beautiful to see. Emmanuel Forbes had a beautiful game, but then again, who was he defending? He was defending the Patriots with the likes of Smith-Schuster and Demario Douglas. I have to even look up these names. You know, they didn't really have a notable receiver. Jalen Reagor, Tyquan Thornton. Of course, Forbes should ball out versus these guys, but at the end of the day, a win is a win, and a good performance by your defense is a good performance. Guys like Quan Martin, KJ Henry almost had a sack, but, they called it, what did they call? They said that it was a personal foul, roughing the passer, because he put his body weight into the sack. Like, the NFL is getting soft. They look like a legit sack. At the end of the day, a sack is a sack. It doesn't matter if you put your whole weight on the quarterback. Protect better for your quarterback, so that way those things don't happen. But yeah, Sam Howell, offense looked good. They have limited some things. I'm loving Larson as the center. He's really solidifying that group, and he seems to be the glue for that group. We're making tweaks here and there, but what I would love to see in the next game, I have to look it up. I knew who we were playing. Seattle. We're playing the Seattle Seahawks, and although the Seahawks are struggling offensively, we should beat the Seahawks. But then again, like I said, the Commander thing to do is to lose the games you think you're going to win. And sometimes you win the games that you don't think you're going to win. Like playing Philly twice. In actuality, after 9 games, the Commanders should be 8-1. Now, you guys might laugh. The one legit loss should be to the Buffalo Bills, right? We should have beaten the Eagles twice. There's no way you slice it. We should have beaten the Eagles twice. And the Bears and the Giants were very winnable games. The Bears, we just didn't show up. on a Thursday night, right? And then versus the Giants, 14-7, it just looked bad, which the team ended up trading away Montez Sweat and Chase Young. So trading away Montez Sweat and Chase Young, I had an interesting stat. Chase Young was leading the team with 6.5 sacks, right? And then Chase Young was right there with 5 sacks. I don't think that any of our defenders are able to reach 7 sacks this year. I mean, who has a chance to reach 7 sacks? Maybe Casey Toohill, but even then, he's going to be defended by some of the best left tackles in the world. And it's time for the defense to get creative, get guys like Allen and Payne. You know, those guys need to create pressures and sacks because they might be the ones to open it up for the edges. Like now you got to like send guys like Cameron Curl. You got to send guys like Jamin Davis. That's going to be the only way that this is going to be able to work in terms of trying to improve your team, in terms of, you know, getting after the quarterback. I probably went blank for a while. I'm not sure. But looking at this defense, we got very lucky. We're going to be playing a team, Geno, with JSN, Lockett, DK Metcalf. And this DK Metcalf, he scares me because he hasn't looked good all season per se. But when you play the Commanders, it fixes all your passing woes. This could be a game where Geno Smith throws for 400 yards. This could be a game where DK Metcalf remembers how to play football. Tyler Lockett could beat you deep. JSN could make some highlight catches as a rookie. So it's going to be a scary game. Kenneth Walker didn't play well on Sunday, but guess what? When they play the Commanders, it seems like everything goes well for other teams. So what can they do? They got to put pressure on Geno Smith. If you let him be accurate and just be there and just be able to create, it can be a long day for the Commanders. So, yeah, I won't sleep on the Seahawks. But as we look at the rest of the schedule, for those of you guys that are listening on the audio, be sure to tweet me on Twitter at Manny Chakuba. For those of you guys that are watching the live or the replay, the Commanders play the Seahawks. They play the Giants. Seahawks on the road, Giants at home, Dallas on the road, Thanksgiving game, I believe. Then they play Miami. Then it's a bye week in week 14. Then they play the Rams and then the Jets. So these next 6 games, do you guys think the Commanders go 5-1, 4-2, 3-3, or 2-4? Let me know in the comment section if you're watching the replay, and then we'll talk about it further. Like I said, these are some winnable games. Seattle has not looked good, but they are at home, and it's a 3:25 game, 3:25 Central Time. So late game for the Commanders on the other side of the world, per se, going to Seattle. Then you play the Giants at home. That's a get-right game, regardless of what happens in that Seattle game. Then you're playing Dallas at Dallas, but you know what? We play every single NFC East opponent very close. Think of it this way: you lost to the you lost to Philly by 3 the first game. You lost to Philly by 7 the next game, and then you lost to the Giants by 7. So all one possession games, all one score games. I believe this game in Dallas is going to be close. I don't know if the Commanders win, but it's going to be close. I want to see what Sam Howell looks like from Seattle to the Giants and then heading into Dallas. He's beaten Dallas before. It's not the same Dallas team. It's not the same Commanders team, but the confidence for Sam Howell continues to build. Then you play Miami. That might be just a straight out loss. Okay. We have nobody in the world that could guard Tyreek Hill right now. Even if you put 4 guys, you cannot guard him. Then, of course, Jalen Waddle is a grown man. And then you have all this speed on offense. Devon Chain should be back by then. So speed. It could be one of those crazy games for the Commanders. But at the end of the day, Sam Howell has to show me what he would look like versus a legit defense that has Jalen Ramsey in the Miami Dolphins. So I'm interested in that game. Like I said, guys, I don't care what happens to the Commanders the rest of the way. For me, it's all about the growth of Sam Howell. That's what's most important here. Hey, what's good, Jackson? Man, appreciate you hopping on the stream, brother. And then we play the Rams. The Rams don't look good right now. And then they just signed Carson Wentz. So it could be a game where, who knows, maybe the Rams have given up at this point. And you might see Carson Wentz versus the Commanders. Who knows? I'm just saying. Rams don't look good. They definitely want a higher draft pick. And then you have the Jets. And it could be Zach Wilson by then. Who knows? There's some rumors that Aaron Rodgers could be back, but I don't see Aaron Rodgers coming back. And then the last 2 games of the season, you have San Francisco, and then you have Dallas. That's 2 potential games to where, who knows? San Fran might have locked up home field advantage, or they might have locked up, something to where they can't get home field advantage or whatever. That game might be meaningless. You have Dallas, that very last game, week 18, unless they're playing for the first overall seed, they can sit a lot of their players. So anything is possible. Anything can happen. There's lots of winnable games. We had a beautiful schedule to even begin with, and it just didn't pan out for the Commanders. But I told you guys I was going to talk Sam Howell for a little bit. I got some Sam Howell stats for you guys that's going to make you guys happy. Of course, stats don't mean much if you're not winning, but the thing is, we actually are winning every now and again, and these stats are starting to make sense. Right now, today, Sam Howell has the most completions in the NFL. And that's thanks to EB with the quick passing game. Boom, 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 getting the ball out of his hands quicker, and you're hitting these guys. You can even hear the Kelsey brothers talking on their podcast, and the Kelsey, I can't think of his first name right now, but Kelsey, I think it's Jason Kelsey, the one that plays center for the Eagles. He was talking about Sam Howell just hit him and hit him and hit him for a slant, another slant, and another slant, and it could not stop what Sam Howell was doing. So a lot of people are raving about Sam Howell. I think that Sam Howell is the future. I think that Sam Howell is the franchise QB. If the next group of coaches come in and say Sam Howell isn't the QB, look, I might not support the team for a while. I'm just being real. Yeah, like today, right now, Sam Howell has the most completions in the NFL with 235 completions. That means he's getting the ball out of his hands quick, and he's throwing a lot of quick passes, which is good. It's an extension of the run game. Also, Sam Howell has the second most passing yards in the NFL currently. So right now, if you go to the stats for the entire NFL and you click on QBs or passing, you're going to see Sam Howell as the number 2 passer in the NFL in terms of yards. And then he has the most touchdowns in the NFL the last 5 games, which is 10 touchdowns the last 5 games. Just imagine for every 5 games the rest of the way, 10 touchdowns. Like these next 5 games, if he gets 10 touchdowns, man, he's on pace for a nice hefty amount of touchdowns. What I want to see is him making good decisions. The interceptions might come here and there, but one thing that I want to see out of Sam is just him making good decisions, him making the correct plays and making the correct reads. And in times where you need a touchdown, like when we get into the red zone, I want to see Sam Howell improve. I want to see Eric Bieniemy improve. It seems like these 2 guys are going to be tied together for quite some time. Somebody's saying that Sam Howell is the quarterback for the next 5 to 10 years. I'm hoping more 10 than 5. Because I'm sick and tired of not having consistency out of the QB position. And next year could be another year for Sam Howell to start. And it'll be beautiful to have a QB that has started 2 seasons, the entire season, 2 years in a row. So that will be something that I'm looking forward to. But we're still right now in this season, and we're focused on Seattle. So yeah, that's the end of the segment for the Commanders. We're going to go ahead and get into the next topic, which is the NBA. The NBA, man, this is one of those years where I'm really, truly enjoying the NBA. There's tons of surprises. There's tons of different rookies that are balling out of control. And you have to start to respect some of these rookies. The first rookie that I want to mention is Ausar Thompson from the Detroit Pistons. This guy right here screams generational talent to me. I'm going to pull up some of his individual numbers. He continues to impress me. He's a guy that can shoot the 3. He's a guy that can defend all 5 positions. He's a big wing, skillful wing. He's 6'6", but man, the things that this guy can do from the court is just bananas. So when you look at the Pistons, right, although they're at the bottom of the pack in the East right now, you have guys like Cade Cunningham coming back from injury. He's averaging 22 points. He's averaging 3 rebounds, 7 assists. He looks great. He looks healthy. And then they have this second-year player, Jalen Duren. Jalen Duren looks great, especially those first 3-4 games to start the season. This guy has 14 points and then 15 rebounds, 1.3 blocks. So let's look at Timeout Sports. Now let's go ahead and get into it. The Timeout Sports says a source defense and rebounding is most impressive. Absolutely. Like, forget the scoring, because when you look at the scoring, his scoring numbers aren't like magnificent because he's averaging 12 points a game. But like you said, the rebounds, 9 rebounds per game, 1.9 blocks. He's one of the top leaders in blocks in the entire NBA. And that's what makes this so impressive. Like, you're correct. You're absolutely right. And then his on-ball defense. We just seen Jaden McDaniels from Minnesota get paid crazy money. And if he's getting paid that kind of money, just imagine what this guy is going to get when it's time for him to get his contract. So I'm excited for this Pistons team. Now, one thing I will say about this Pistons team is that Jaden Ivey, is it Jaden Ivey? Yeah, Jaden Ivey. Everybody's a Jaden. Is it Jaden or Jalen? So Jaden Ivey, he's pissed off right now that he thinks he should be starting, and he should be starting, rightfully so. 6'4" guard out of Purdue. He did a lot of great things last year, especially with Cade Cunningham missing the entire season pretty much. And for him to come back this year, and then Jaden Ivey has some defense. He has some defense to him, but they're going Killian Hayes over Jaden Ivey, which is so wrong. Like, it's just so wrong. I think that Jaden Ivey matches better. He's a better scorer. He does everything better than Killian Hayes, to me, honestly. People say Killian Hayes defense, but I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, he's a little bit, Killian Hayes is a little bit taller. He's 6'5". Jaden Ivey is 6'4". And I believe that Jaden Ivey gives these guys something better than what Killian Hayes would give them, but maybe they want that scoring punch off the bench or whatever the case may be. The Pistons are a young, exciting team. We talked a little bit about Jalen Duren, 14 points, 11.5 rebounds. This guy is going to be a potential all-star this season. If they start to get some wins, you can see them putting multiple guys in that all-star game. They have Isaiah Stewart out there, 12 points, 8 rebounds. They just have a lot of guys that can do a lot of different things. I mean, this team is young. This team is hungry, and I'm excited to see what this team does as the season progresses. But yeah, let's go ahead and talk about a few other teams. You look at Boston. Boston seems to have like the perfect team. They went and got Porzingis, right? The 7'3", 7'4" power forward that shoots threes. Sounds like a Victor Wembanyama, which we're going to get into. But yeah, the Celtics look great, man. Jason Tatum is playing MVP ball, man. 30.5 points per game, 8.8 rebounds. He looks great. And then the addition of Drew Holiday, just not the defensive things that he does, but controlling the tempo offensively, averaging 5.3 assists a game. He looks great. Jaylen Brown, this guy just goes on from time to time, and he just does his thing. He's averaging 23 points. KP's averaging 19. You have the key to this whole Boston Celtics team is Derek White. Derek White, 6'4" guard. They traded for him last year. He's just come in and played magnificent, man. Averaging 15, almost 16 points per game, 4 rebounds, 4 assists. He's that second guard that can spell a Drew Holiday. These two guys work in tandem as one of the best, yes, the best defensive backcourt in the NBA. And I say it proudly because these two guys, I'm a Lakers fan, and I hate the Celtics, but you got to give these guys credit where credit is due. Devin White, Derek White, Holiday. And the bench is where it kind of gets a little iffy with these guys, but they have guys that are specialists. You have shooters and Hauser. You have, guys like Pritchard. You have Horford still manning that defense. Yeah, so yeah, Celtics, they look like the best team right now by far in the entire East. But then you have Philly right there creeping. They just got rid of James Harden. James Harden goes to the Clippers. We're going to talk about the Clippers. So you have Philly, who's solid from top to bottom. You have Joel Embiid, who is like literally MVP status, one of the best top 3 players in the entire NBA. You can't stop this guy. This guy put up like 48 and some crazy rebound number yesterday. You know, when this guy is on his game, you cannot stop him. Timeout Sports says, yeah, Derek White has been great this year. They get him back tomorrow. Congrats to him on his new child, man. Big congrats to Derek White, man. He's winning right now. And yeah. Yeah, man. Celtics are legit. But Joel Embiid, man, averaging 32.5 points per game, 11 rebounds. Shout out to Maxey, man. They've been holding Maxey down. Like, you got to get rid of James Harden. They finally got rid of James Harden. And then now you're about to see the best of Tyrese Maxey. This guy's averaging 25.5 points per game, 4.5 rebounds, 7.3 assists. He's legit. He's going to be an all-star this year. And they needed Harden to get out of there for this guy to grow. It reminds me of the Lakers when they had Russell Westbrook, and then you had a guy in Austin Reeves, who's not an all-star, who's not a star, but he's a guy that can put up some numbers. He's a guy that's legit. He's a guy that needed his own path, so to speak. He needed to get his own chance to just do his thing. And he's been doing this thing, and he does what he does pretty well. So shout out to Austin Reeves and guys like, Maxey, guys that can just come in and just command an offense and play free. Tobias Harris, people say trade Tobias Harris, get rid of Tobias Harris. Tobias Harris right now is still currently a really good player, especially for this team. 19 points per game, 6 rebounds. But the absolute key for these guys is Kelly Oubre. He doesn't even start. He started half the games. He hasn't started the other half. So he's like one of those guys that you can plug into your starting lineup if you choose to. He's averaging 18 points per game, almost a 20-point per game type season. So, yeah, this team is stacked. And then you add defenders in Nicholas Batum, who can come in, knock down the three, defend all 5 positions. He's just a perfect fit for this team. And then you got some other guys in that Harden trade, guys like Marcus Morris Sr., who can step in, Covington, big wing, guy you can play at the 4, stretch 5. If you want to go small, you have Patrick Beverly. So they have some tough, gritty guys. Just imagine it. Had they kept all these guys plus PJ Tucker, it will make this team so scary defensively. So I believe the Sixers are going to be in it all year long. But then you got to talk about Milwaukee. So many good teams. This is going to be a very good year for basketball. You have Milwaukee. You have Dame Lillard out here doing his thing. You have Giannis doing his thing. And these guys are just meshing in pretty well. Right now, Lillard's averaging 22.7 points per game. When was the last time he had to take a backseat to a guy and be that number 2? So Giannis and Lillard, they're working out well. Giannis at the beginning, Lillard at the end. But outside of these two, who is going to be that guy that scores for you if one of these two guys are not going? Of course, you have Portis, but Portis comes off the bench. Portis cannot be your third leading scorer, and then that's kind of scary. That's kind of crazy. Middleton has been up and down. We don't know what he's going to be. We don't know if he's fully healthy. We don't know if he's acclimated. We don't know if he's gelling and meshing with these guys. Then you have all these different guys like Beasley, who's in the starting lineup, to shoot the ball. And I got to go and look for myself to see if he's actually shooting the ball well. Don't have those numbers for you, but he needs to be important for this team. Then you have Lopez, who's always consistent. He's tied for 4th. Him and Portis are like right there in double figures in scoring. So it's going to be interesting to see what these guys do as they continue to build. Are they done building this roster? Absolutely not. They're going to continue to add. They have guys like Cameron Payne. Cameron Payne is a nice player for this team off the bench. So we're going to see what this team looks like as they continue to build. But the team is thin. It's top heavy. But then when you look at the bench, like the Pat Connaughtons, they need to step up big. And the Beasleys, they don't really have a lot of depth like they've had in years past. And then losing Drew Holiday, obviously, is a big hit for this team. But they're going to be able to score with anybody in the league. A team I want to talk about is the Brooklyn Nets. But I want to talk about Cam Thomas. Cam Thomas is a dog. This guy can score like crazy. He came off the bench yesterday, which was bananas, which is crazy. This guy's averaging 28.7 points per game. He had a 40-something point game yesterday. This guy's just a natural gifted scorer. He's a scorer. You have a guy that's outscoring Mikal Bridges, and Mikal Bridges is a dog. He showed that, this is his team. He showed that he can lead this team. But, man, to have a guy that's scoring more than Bridges, Well, it just brings you the scoring, the rebounding, the defense, the steals, the assists, all these different things. Then you have Lonnie Walker that you add, a guy coming off the bench, giving you some offense. You have Dorian Finley-Smith, who's shooting the three ball pretty well. You have Cam Johnson. You have Dinwiddie. You have all these different guys. So, yeah, man, I'm enjoying this thing. This season has been magnificent. I'm going to take a break, guys, and I'll be back to you guys after this message. All right, we are back, man. You gotta love live recordings because the live recording group gets something different from what the audio group gets. So it's pretty awesome. But yeah, we were talking about the Brooklyn Nets, and I think the Brooklyn Nets are going to be one of those teams that's going to contend in the East. Right now, their record doesn't say so, but I mean, it's just been 6 games, 7 games, right? But what I love about the Brooklyn Nets is that Ben Simmons is back. He's averaging 10, almost 11 rebounds a game. He's averaging almost 7 assists a game. Yes, he's not scoring much. He's, under 7 points per game. But at the end of the day, he is that anchor that the Nets need. And then he's a guy that's a stellar defender. He's a guy that you can play at the 4. You can play him at the 1. You can play him at different spots. You can play him at the 3. And this team, they have defense, they have offense, they have wings. And then once Claxton gets back, that gives them their big man, and then they're solidified. So the Nets look great already this year with Cam Thomas scoring the way that he's scoring. He's going to carry that offense along with guys like Lonnie Walker as well as Bridges. And then you have defenders all over the place from Finley Smith. I can just keep naming these guys, but we know who's on the Nets. Ben Simmons is anchoring that team, man. This team is going to be a force. This is a team that can surprise one of the top teams in the league. We see Cleveland continue to struggle. What is it with Donovan Mitchell and this team? Why is it this team just can't get over the hump? I don't know. I just don't know what it is. You have the Knicks. They're just one of those teams just right around there. You hear all these rumors about Joel Embiid going to the Knicks. I don't see that happening. Maybe not this season. Maybe next season. I think that Philly is doing enough right now to win, but you have to then answer a question. Can you retain Joel Embiid and put him in a position to be a contender for a finals every single year? And that's what it's going to boil down to, whether Joel Embiid re-signs with the Sixers or not. Miami, they're kind of up and down. You have the Bulls that are up and down. Charlotte. Then you have the worst team in the East, which is the Wizards. The Wizards are ultra trash. They're bottom, but you're going to have fun watching guys like Poole. You're going to have fun watching guys like Kuzma. They're going to score like crazy, but at the end of the day, they don't have what it takes to win. They don't have winners on the team right now, but that doesn't mean that doesn't change. But yeah, the NBA is going to be fun. And we just talked about just several different teams in the East currently. Let's go ahead and hit the Western Conference. We're going to get to the Lakers at the end. Transition to the Lakers segment of this podcast. You have Denver, who looks great right now with a 7-1 record. Is there a team in the West right now that is strong enough to knock out the Denver Nuggets? I don't know. Jamal Murray getting hurt is very concerning because he's a big part of this team. He's a big part of what they do. Do they have the depth to withstand injuries? You're going to have guys like Michael Porter Jr. He needs to step up. Aaron Gordon, he needs to step up. KCP and the rest of these guys. These are champions, right? These are guys that knows what it takes to win a championship. The Joker is just amazing. Leading these guys in just about every single category. Almost 29 points a game. Almost 13 rebounds a game. 8.4 assists a game. I mean, what can't this guy do? Now, obviously, he's never been a shot blocker, but they do it by a collective group. You have guys like Porter stepping in. You got guys like Gordon stepping in. Then you have KCP leading the team in steals. So the team is built. They're big. You have Porter Jr. and then Gordon, who can play that 3-4 position. They just kind of swap. But yeah, the Denver Nuggets are solid, man. The Denver Nuggets are tough. They're going to be a tough team to beat. It seems like Reggie Jackson is going to step into that point guard position and try to lead these guys. He's capable. He's a vet. He's been around. And then you have this guy, Braun, man. I love this guy, Christian Braun. This guy is as tough as nails. He's 6'6". He looks shorter than 6'6", but he brings the energy, the passion into the game. This guy was a big piece to this championship team last year. So I'm looking for him to take that next step. Losing Bones, that's tough. So this bench has to step up. Like when these guys were getting their rings on ring night, they were naming so many guys that I've never heard of before. I'm like, you're in the team, and you're in the team. So some of these guys that we don't know about need to step up from this bench, man. But their top 5, 6 top guys are solid. So we'll see what they look like as the season progresses. It's still early. They're 7-1. Everybody's dancing. Everybody's happy. We know that things obviously change in a snap of a finger. Like right now, the Dallas Mavericks are 6-1, but that does not mean that this is going to stay. The Golden State Warriors, you got to be impressed with these guys. These guys are professionals. These guys are playing unbelievable ball. And with Chris Paul joining this Golden State team, it's just great. This is just a great thing for the Warriors. You have a guy that's going to control the tempo. He does not get a lot of turnovers. He's going to set guys up. He's going to elevate guys like Kuminga. He's going to elevate guys like Wiggins. Now, Wiggins needs to step up his game. He's averaging under 11 points per game. You're going to need his scoring to go up. You're going to need his defense to go up. You're going to need his rebounding to go up, his energy to go up. They cannot go anywhere without Wiggins taking a step. He has to play MVP, finals MVP caliber. That's the kind of caliber that you need out of Wiggins. Yes, you added more, but he needs to find his place because guess what? Curry's averaging about 31 points per game, right? Looney's going to do his things. Looney's going to do Looney things, grabbing boards, being, setting screens. Chris Paul leading the team in assists, almost 8 assists a game, whether he's coming off the bench, whether he's starting. So these are some of the different things I'm looking at. And then Draymond Green has come in, and he's come in playing ball. He's averaging 10 points per game. He's averaging about 5 rebounds, but the assist numbers I was thinking it was going to go down. He's averaging right under 7 assists a game. So Draymond Green is still Draymond Green. He's a guy that's going to give you 10, 7, and 7. That's what he does. And then, of course, he's going to get you blocks. He's going to get you steals. He's going to guard the best wing or the best big every single night. That's what Draymond Green brings to the table. Now, Kuminga taking a step. His scoring is going up. He's almost averaging 13 points per game. So maybe more Kuminga and less Wiggins. Maybe that's why it's just kind of hard to get everybody scoring. But Klay Thompson is averaging under 17 points per game. Is that a good thing or is that a bad thing? When you have more guys scoring, it's a good thing. But when you need Klay to be Klay, he'll need to be Klay because he wants that big money. I'm not sure he gets the big money. And it's going to be interesting to see how things pan out moving forward with Klay. But yeah, this team is solid, man. You have guys like Gary Payton. You have guys like Moody. This is a well-constructed team. And like Draymond says, he says last year it was just kind of hard for people to come into the office. And, with the whole thing with Jordan Poole, things didn't look like the Golden State Warriors. As long as you have Curry, as long as you have guys that are hungry, defense, Kerr, this team is going to be a problem all season long. Minnesota is a team that can sneak up on you. Anthony Edwards is amazing. Anthony Edwards is so good that he can win the MVP. If you see Minnesota let's just say Minnesota goes on a crazy win streak and Minnesota's number 1 in the West, Anthony Edwards wins the MVP. It's a crazy take. You might say, oh, that's a crazy. Anthony Edwards is legit. There's nothing that this guy can't do. He's averaging almost 7 rebounds a game for a shooting guard. Come on, man. This guy's averaging about 5 assists a game. Blocks, steals. Well, not blocks, but steals. Like, he does everything. This guy's a leader. Look, when you need a bucket in the fourth quarter, he's the guy that's all over it. But then you got to give a shout out to Rudy Gobert. Rudy Gobert, he's still solid, 12 points, 12 rebounds, and then he's blocking at a huge clip, 2.2 blocks per game. He got dunked on last night by Jaylen Brown, and everybody was saying, oh my gosh, that. It was a crazy stat on Rudy Gobert. They said that any defender that was close to him, they don't score. And I'm like, this guy is a potential defensive player of the year. He's been good. AD has been good. Ashore Thompson has been good. There's been several guys that are playing some individual defense at a high clip. We were saying, oh, this lineup can't work with Towns and Gobert, and then you have Reed. So Reed is coming off the bench averaging 15 points per game. That's their third center. Then you have Towns, who's averaging under 17 a game. You have Gobert, who's averaging 12. So this is a big team. Then you have Jaden McDaniels, who just got paid, one of the better defenders in the league. You pair him and Rudy, this is going to be a really good defensive team. And then Anthony Edwards can lock up when he needs to. So this could be a team that wins and gets into the playoffs just because they're very good defensive. Then you have Kyle Anderson. The list goes on and on and on and on. Even Nickeil Alexander-Walker. He's very scrappy. So they have a lot of different guys that can defend. And as the season goes on, maybe they make a trade. Maybe at the buyout market, teams are like, man, I want to go play over there. They play good. They play defense. So this is a team to be reckoned with. I don't know if I should take them seriously or not. Like, it's still early, but Minnesota is a tough team. And they're a team that's structured so crazy. You have Edwards, who's so athletic. You have McDaniels, who can lock in, lock up. So you have all these different players, all these different things that these different guys can do. So yeah, you have Zion coming back. He's healthy. Ingram. Then you have CJ McCullough. He's out. So it's all these different scenarios for these different teams so early. But the OKC Thunder, this team is exciting with Chet Holmgren, Giddey, SGA, Lou Dort. That's a deep team. They're a young team. They're a hungry team. They add a vet or two. They add the right vet or two, and it's game over. It's GG's. This is an up-and-coming team, and the entire league knows it. If I'm a team, I don't want to see OKC in round one. I'm not saying they're going to surprise anybody, but what I'm saying is that they're a very solid team. We see Phoenix right now struggling. They can't have all three of the guys on the floor at the same time, and it's crazy to me. You have Houston, they're scrapping, but they're still bottom of the barrel. You have the Clippers, who go ahead and bring in a James Harden to go with a Russell Westbrook and Harden and PG-13. That's not going to work. By this time next year, you've seen this group broken up, split up. It's just a bunch of guys that need the ball, and you're trying to make it work. I've never liked the whole construction of the roster, because I believe they need a big that can go out and score, not a Zubac. You need a big who's legit, and you just need something, and you need a pure point guard. Yes, you have Westbrook. He's played tremendous this last year and in this beginning of this year, but it's just something about this Clipper roster that I don't like. I don't know what it is. Then you have teams that are not in the playoffs right now, like the Spurs with Victor Wembanyama. They're an exciting team. This guy is defending at a high clip. He's another guy that can be Defensive Player of the Year. Then you have Portland, who's trying to figure things out. You have the Kings, who were a top team last year, and they're a bottom team this year. Things change quickly, and things are going to continue to change every couple of weeks. You have Utah, who was good for a certain point of the season last year. This year, they start out pretty bad. Then you have Memphis, who's a top team. Now they're the bottom team. This is going to be a competitive West. I'm going to bring my guy Razman on, and we're going to talk a little bit of Lakers, and we're going to transition to the last segment of the show. Mr. Razman, what's good, brother?
What up? What up? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, man. Welcome to the show, man.
I appreciate you having me, brother.
All right, man. Wanted to talk Lakers for a little bit before we transition to the final portion of the show, man. How are you feeling about the Lakers so far this year?
You know what? To be as expected, honestly, as a Laker fan, bro, sometimes our expectations are a little bit extreme. And we're doing better than a lot of us fans are giving us credit for. So I do think that we're doing pretty good. We're honestly, we're doing just about as good as we were doing last year. And our pace last year was really bad. So we're ahead of that pace right now. And you remember, this same team basically went to the conference championship last year. So.
Exactly. So let me give you some numbers. Last year, I almost said Commanders. The Lakers started the season 2-10. And it was partly because of that guy, your favorite player of all time, Russell Westbrook. This guy was pissing me off last season. He made me say some things like, I don't want to support the Lakers no more. I mean, the guy's IQ was so low, but the roster construction was terrible. Between having Westbrook selling all your depth pieces, KCP, Kuzma, two big pieces that are balling right now for their respective teams. KCP, another champion, and then Kuzma, borderline all-star, just got paid. And you trade those guys to get Russell Westbrook, and you wanted Russell Westbrook to be another AD, another LeBron. And we're starting to see that this super team thing doesn't necessarily work. You get these guys, and you cannot fill out the rest of your roster. You're top heavy. If one of your top guys like AD, Mr. I Stay Hurt, gets hurt, then what happens to your team? your makeup of your team is messed up, and you're just trying to figure it out, right?
Yeah, and the other thing about our team is, it's not. We don't have the superstars like we don't have those superstars like that, like in your traditional sense. Traditionally, your traditional superstars, one guy's going to go out and get you 30, the other guy's going to get you 27, and then everybody else is going to fill in. And yeah, we have that to an extent, but to be honest with you, because Anthony Davis is so injury prone and LeBron is older, it's usually a mixed bag with the results that they give you. Then the other thing is, LeBron's not going to play any defense, and AD, his heart is small. He didn't have a big heart, so when things get tough, he usually gets out of there. So we're going to have to really depend on a lot of our role players, and with our one guy, what's the guy's name?
Austin Reeves.
Reeves, yeah. But Reeves not playing as well as he did last year, and he's really our closer. With him not really doing that so far this year, I think that's what makes it look a little funny. But this is going to be what it looks like the whole year. It's going to look like a little herky jerky. Us praying that Anthony Davis stays healthy, and that when he's healthy, he gives effort. Us praying that LeBron stays healthy, and that at some point he'll see somebody open and he'll decide to defend them, and then we'll also be praying that LeBron's step back 3-pointer continues to drop. Hey, listen, us Laker fans, we are praying people. We have faith, and that's what you're gonna have to have, because it's not gonna look like the Suns or the Warriors or these other teams where it looks cohesive. We don't look. That's just not what the Lakers are going to look like. We don't put that out for whatever reason. The parts didn't fit last year, and they don't really fit that good this year either.
Right. So
a few things. Have a shooting problem.
Few things to address. Time Out Sports left, but he's back, and he talked about he's a Miami fan, a big Miami Heat fan, and he just had to come on when he seen I was talking about the Lakers. Obviously, he's a Commanders fan, but he said Miami, yeah, man. How about the Lakers? Blah blah. Yes, I know Miami won, and I was really gonna do the same thing that you did to me to you guys. I was gonna come hit you and Dobbs and say, hey, man, we beat y'all, but it was a game to where Miami had the game. Miami should have won the game by 10. It should never have been close. When AD got hurt and left for the second or third time, or however many times he kept coming back and leaving, he was pulling that Paul Pierce type thing where, hey, man, cart me out of here. I can't do it. And he comes back. Then he's like, oh, I got to go. Then he comes back again. So the Heat should have won that game, and it all came down to one shot. When I seen LeBron drive, I'm like, uh-oh, he's going to, hit, do something or, get to the line. Ain't one. Then he passes the ball to the corner. I'm like, yes. Then when I seen it was Cam Reddish, I said, no. This is not going to end well. And Cam Reddish shot the ball, and it was just GG's after that, man. It was a wrap. It was a wrap. But got some numbers for you, man. AD has never played more than 75 games, and that was in the 2016-17 season. He played 75 games. 2017-18 season, 75 games. And then that next year, he played 56. I believe he would have been on his way to 82, but they shut him down because they were going to trade him. Lo and behold, he comes to the Lakers. He has never played more than 62 games. Here are the games for AD since he's been here for 5 years. He's going on his 5th year. Year 1, 62. Man, career high. Next year, 36. The next year, 40. One of those 36 or 40 must have been the COVID year. I can't remember which one's which. Then 56 last year, came off the bench for 2 games. And then this year, 7 games. I think that AD has been really trying to push through these injuries. Even when he tries to push through and play, the problem is that sometimes your body just gives out. Like he came out yesterday and he just grabbed his hip. He really tried to, get through the game, try to finish. When he turned around and tried to shoot the ball and Bam Adebayo blocked him, I said, man, get this guy out the game. Not that Bam is a bad defender or anything like that, but it's like you couldn't back down Bam, who's an excellent defender, and now you have to fade. You're trying to fade on Bam? Come on, man. So That's that. another point that you made was you said that Austin Reeves is not playing the same, or he's not scoring the same. His scoring is the same. I think so far he has a career high in scoring so far this year. He's averaging 14 points per game, which is one more than he did last year. Now, I get it. In the playoffs, Austin Reeves was him. Austin Reeves was like Timothy, and he was Hercules, and all these different names that he was getting. But he has to play a different way. He has to play a different way. And he's definitely playing complementary to LeBron and AD. You need Austin Reeves to be a better shooter. He's still working on that. The three-point shot is not there. Like last year, he shot 39%. This year, he's shooting 31%. That number needs to be closer to 37 for him to be very effective with this team. But I'm liking what I'm seeing. The best attribute that I can say about Austin Reeves this year, because I have him in fantasy, is that he's rebounding the ball very well. He's rebounding the ball very well. You're going to see him several games this year that he's gotten 7 or more rebounds. I believe he had 9 last night, and he was a big part of almost winning this game. He had an excellent game. I mean, let me pull up the game log real quick. So last night versus Miami, he shot 37% from 3. He was 9 for 14 overall, 64%, 10 rebounds, 9 assists, 23 points. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. The last 3 games for Austin Reeves, 15, 20, 23. I think he's playing as well as he can play.
What was the first 3 games?
First 3 games, if I can find those. Okay, first 3 games since it was in October, 14, 10, 5, 11. Not bad. Trying to figure it out. And mind you, we had healthier players.
He's really the third guy, or he was a third guy in the playoffs. Mm-hmm. He was a third guy. Now I guess he's playing like he's the fourth.
Here's the thing. You can say he's the third guy all you want. D'Lo's averaging 17 points per game. Okay. It's hard to fight somebody who's playing. D'Lo is playing as great as LeBron this year. So far, still a small sample size. D'Lo has looked amazing. So it's kind of hard to say. I mean, D'Lo's averaging 17.3 points per game, right? Sure. Reeves has taken that backseat, or taking a step back so that D'Lo can rise. Okay, D'Lo's rising, and Reeves is a guy that doesn't need confidence. Reeves doesn't need to be averaging 17 right now. Reeves knows what he can do. Now, with the team having so many injuries, you've had games where Cam Reddish had to start. Taurean Prince has been out, in and out. Hachimura, they slapped him in the eye. His eye is hurting. Then you have AD with the injury now. Christian Wood is a guy that steps up, and sometimes in the fourth quarter, he's looking like the third, fourth option. So we have so many options that it's going to look like this for Reeves. He's not going to be a consistent number 3 for you because you built the team to be deep. So my whole thing is, when you have an open shot, are you knocking it down? Are you rebounding? Are you defending? Are you assisting? Are you doing different things to affect the game? And that's what I'm going to look more so from Reeves than anything. He's one of them guys that, look, in the fourth quarter, man, you can give him the ball. He can get to the line. And one, he gets to the line. So if he's doing those things and still averaging 12 points per game, 13 points, I'm okay with that. It's the consistency for Reeves for me. And Tom Sports says something important, right? He says Reeves been better over the last couple games. Absolutely. He's looking like Reeves again. But like I said, you have to have less of an option for him to elevate his game. You can't have LeBron going for 30, AD going for close to 30. Where are the shots? You know what I'm saying? So the shot distribution, LeBron is getting his. They said minutes restriction this, minutes restriction that, and he's been playing crazy minutes. AD gets his share, right? So it's only so much a third option can do based off of like the scraps that are left for you to shoot the ball. But any final thoughts on the Lakers before we move on to the last segment of the show?
I just agree, like with what we both said. It's going to look a little herky-jerky. Mm-hmm. AD is more than likely going to miss time. At some point, LeBron is going to miss time. And the reason that I stress Reeves is because the Lakers, decided that he was going to be a big part of this team. So he's at some point he's going to have to step up, and he's going to have to look like he did and look like the player that we gave the contract extension to. I think D'Lo as well. I just don't think he's clutch. So I think if somebody's taking the last shot, you'd rather it was Reeves than it was D'Lo. But we're going to need
D'Lo's been
contributions
clutch
from
this
the whole
season.
team. Yeah, we're going to need contributions from the whole team. It's going to be more of a team deal than it is a dominated by LeBron and AD deal once we get to the playoffs and ultimately to a championship where we want to go.
I mean, Hachimura got paid just like Reeves. Jared Vanderbilt got paid just like Reeves, and Vanderbilt has played no games.
I've been looking for Hachimura.
Yeah, he's been hurt, and Vando hasn't even played a game, and he got paid. So several guys that got paid, and not all of them are playing right now due to injuries. Some guys are useless, like Hayes. I don't know what Jackson Hayes does out there. He just runs up and down, gets you a dunk. So the roster construction is a little weird. I like Reddish. Reddish has played the best defense for the Lakers so far this season. He has been great defensively. Taurean Prince up and down. At least Taurean Prince is a really good three-point shooter for the Lakers so far. So we need more shooting. We need more defense. We need a little bit of everything. But let's go ahead and talk some Dynasty football, man. This is what I've been waiting on. Guess who comes back this week, potentially?
Oh,
Kyler Murray's back. Kyler Murray's back.
Kyler Murray.
So if Kyler Murray's back, guess what that means? Hollywood Brown, stock is up. Trey McBride, our guy, his stock is up. And then last but not least, Michael Wilson, if he gets over that shoulder injury, he is a guy that can produce. So what is your take for Kyler Murray? We know that the running is not going to be there. The running, you can just throw that in the trash. They're going to focus on this guy being a passer. And we both can agree that he's a better passer than Joshua Dobbs, right?
Yes. He throws a better ball, and he's a better passer than Joshua Dobbs. We can say that.
All right. Just making sure. I was about to kick you off the show. Give me your expectations for Kyler Murray, first game coming off of injury.
Okay, my expectations honestly aren't that good. I don't think that they're going to start off that fast with him, and I don't think they're going to be trying to do that much with him, honestly, because they're going to be more so trying to protect him. You know, honestly, there was a lot of people were concerned that he wasn't going to even be able to play because everybody assumed, hey, they're trying to get another quarterback because they're not believing in Kyler Murray anymore, but maybe because of his size, because he hasn't made it through a full season yet, and all this time. So, and to win a championship, you have to be available to play late in the season and into the playoffs. So, because that hasn't happened, I think that that a lot of people thought that they were trying to turn the page on Kyler Murray. So this could either be an audition for him the rest of the season, or this could also be an audition for the rest of the league. You know, if they're thinking about selling him. But something else to take note of, I honestly think that Clayton Tune was served up to the Wolves to play against the Browns. I mean, I listen. I honestly think that was the reason. Is because they were basically going to serve him up as a fish on a platter, and they didn't want to put Kyler Murray in that position. So they took Tune and they fed him to the Lions. You know,
look, let me tell you something.
It does seem they're trying to protect Murray to an extent.
Let me tell you something. When they cut Colt McCoy is terrible. Clayton Tune is just as bad. Okay, I don't care. He hasn't gotten a chance yet. Clayton Tune is bad. He was bad to begin with because guess what? Had he been decent, you don't go get a Dobbs. They got Dobbs literally in less than 10 days. This guy was a starting quarterback. It just
they got Dobbs to lose.
They got Dobbs to lose. If you wanted to lose, you play Tune.
Listen, the plan was to lose. They may have
not to lose.
Listen, they may have wanted to go ahead and transition Tune. They may have just been done with McCoy. The plan was to lose. You don't go get a Joshua Dobbs and say we're going to win.
Look. They wanted some consistency. They wanted to see what they had in guys like Hollywood Brown and some of these other receivers that they had.
Okay.
You know, you had Zach Ertz, so you're not going to go to Tune. Like the thing is, look, when they let go
wasn't to win because they didn't go get a quarterback that could win. So the plan was never to win. The plan, but I do agree with you. They may have wanted to see what they had in those players, and maybe wanted somebody that could actually see what they had. But the
Look,
plan was never to win.
nobody comes to the season and say, "Hey, we're going to lose." You go to play, you play, and you see what happens. That team is scrappy. That team was better than a lot of people. If they had Kyler Murray with that same scrappiness that he had to start the year, they'll have a good record right now. There's no doubt in my mind. That defense was good. They gave teams fits. You know, and you say, "Oh, they brought this guy to lose." If you wanted to lose, look, if I wanted to lose and I let go of Colt McCoy, guess what? I'm bringing in another bum that's even worse than this guy. I'm bringing in a guy that nobody's ever heard of,
but
like
you
David
said
DeVito.
But
That's
you
what I'm
said
doing.
something that did make sense, and that was bringing in a guy that you could actually help develop the players that's on the team, see what you had and stuff like that. I mean, that makes a lot of sense for the team to actually be able to function like an NFL team. But as far as winning, no, they weren't trying to win. It just wasn't the plan. If that's the case, you bring Dobbs in a long time before then, or you go get a better quarterback, a
No,
more
he became
established quarterback.
available. The thing is, he became available. The quarterback market was. Who did he bring in? Carson Wentz. I
Listen,
mean,
at the beginning of the season, if you say, give me Joshua Dobbs to win or Carson Wentz to win, you would feel like Carson Wentz would have a better shot because Carson Wentz at least did winning in his past.
I'm
Joshua
bringing in the
Dobbs,
guy. I'm bringing in the guy in Dobbs who just went to the playoffs. The guy that's hungry, like the guy that's like, I'm gonna do everything I need to do to
who did
stick
he
in the
go to the
league.
playoffs with?
Wasn't it the Titans?
No, he didn't go to no
Did he go to the
playoffs.
playoffs with Titans? Oh, okay. I guess he played important games to try to
Heck
get in the
no.
playoffs. Or you guys
You
were
know
just
what? You
so
know how many
bad. Like,
games he
what
won
was
with
it?
Tennessee?
How many?
Man, this guy won. He won one game. He won one game, but he was
Well, he was better
exciting.
than Tannehill. He was better than Tannehill. I'll tell you that.
He was exciting.
Had Dobbs
He was
been the
better.
starter
He
for the
actually was better
Titans,
than Tannehill.
had he been the starter for the Titans, he possibly, record might look a little different. Like I think Tannehill just kind of gave it his all.
We'd have lost more games because the problem is Tannehill's not the same after that last ankle injury or knee injury, whatever it was. He's just not the same.
Whatever it was, yeah, he's toast. He's toast. So let's talk about the Panthers.
Dobbs
right?
isn't good, bro.
All right, cool. Let's talk about the Panthers, man. They have another quarterback that isn't good in Bryce Young, at least to start the year. And you have the Panthers and the Bears on TV on Thursday. I'm not watching that game. I'll be looking for an NBA game to watch. Or I'm watching Netflix. I'm watching Suits on Netflix. But yeah, I'm not watching that game. This dude had 2 pick six, and this is the guy that was picked number 1 overall. Everybody was excited about Thielen. Thielen. I got a Thielen. Everybody was saying Thielen is the guy and this and that. And Miles Sanders has not worked out. So I'm not going to include Miles Sanders in there. You draft a Mingo's bad. DJ Chark is bad. Like Terrence Marshall is bad. So they're going to be in the market for a receiver next year. Where are you with your value on Bryce right now in Dynasty? Are you buying? Are you selling? Are you staying away? Do you think he still has value? Like, what is the value for Bryce Young right now? We talked about it a little bit last show.
So obviously his price has fallen. Mm-hmm. I mean, and listen, tanked. Obviously, his price and his value has tanked. He is one of those guys when you look at him on the field, like we knew he was small. He looks smaller on an NFL field. He looks like a midget. I mean, well, let me not say a small person. So he looks small, and then he also looks frail, and he looks like a deer in the headlights. So I think his value has changed. I have not soured on Bryce though, because I do believe. Listen, for the right price, I would buy in. But because people get so attached to what they spent on a guy, and they sometimes they refuse to move, they'll still want a top 5 pick for him. Like, nah, he's not worth that. But if I could get him for an early second or late first in a league that that I have depth in, I would try it. I would try it. I'll pull the trigger on that because for a fact that they're gonna give him 2 years.
Okay. So I'll give you 2 trades that I've made for Bryce Young. One, I acquired Bryce Young, and one, I sold Bryce Young. So in the deal where I acquired Bryce Young, I gave up Drake London and Desmond Ritter. I think we all know that Desmond Ritter is terrible. He's trash. Okay, he's done. He's done. So Desmond Ritter and Drake London. This deal was like 3 weeks ago before all this benching of Desmond Ritter. Then I acquired Bryce Young and Jonathan Mingo. Now, I think I won that. Like, if you're saying Drake London straight up for Bryce Young in a Superflex league, I'm making that deal all day long. Why? Because it's hard to get QBs. Even if Drake London might go on to be a great, wide receiver. Maybe they get a really good quarterback next year, like Drake May or whoever Shador, whoever they decide to get that they feel, hey, that's the guy. Me getting Bryce and Mingo, it's a bonus because my QBs in that league weren't good. It was Russell Wilson, and I had another older guy. So to be able to bring in a Bryce Young, a guy that could potentially do something, I'm okay with that. I would trade a receiver all day for a top rookie or top young QB with some value because I could then flip Bryce Young once again for a player plus pick. Now, in the league where I traded Bryce Young, I drafted Bryce Young at the 101 in the rookie draft. And he wasn't the guy that I wanted. I wanted JSN. I'm a big JSN fan. But the value was to go ahead and grab a Bryce, Anthony Richardson. And then I'm not going to lie. I wasn't looking at CJ Stroud. We're going to talk about CJ Stroud in a minute. I wasn't looking at CJ Stroud, and I took Bryce. Now I'm stuck with a player that I didn't even want to begin with. At least had I taken JSN 1 overall, I tried to trade back. Nobody wanted to trade back. And I took JSN there, I would at least been happy because it's a player that I want to have on my roster. So I traded Bryce Young for Jordan Love, who I don't believe in, and a first-round pick. Now, that first-round pick might be late, but guess what? I came out of the entire deal. Sorry, I took Bryce Young at the 102. I traded the 101 for 102 plus Mac Jones. Mac Jones has not amounted to nothing, but it is a super flex league. So there will be some value for Mac Jones if he goes somewhere else next year and starts. So with these QBs, they do hold value. I drafted Sam Howell in the 3rd round in plenty leagues. I just sold Sam Howell for 2 first-round picks. Now, did I want to do that? No. But it's a league where I'm rebuilding. The team is really, really bad. Yes, I could have kept Sam as a building block, but to get 2 firsts for Sam, I'm doing that all day long. But yeah, Razman, talk to me about CJ Stroud, where he was on your board in the rookie drafts and where this guy is right now. I'm going to pull up the stats from his magnificent game, but talk to me about CJ Stroud.
Okay, yeah, that's a good conversation. So when we talked, and me, you, and Sheila did some extensive talks on the rookie QBs at the beginning. We all hated Will Levis. Sheila loved Anthony Richardson. Me and you were not as big of fans. I think me and you were both Bryce 1, Stroud 2. I think that was both of me and you.
Yep.
And then Sheila said something about Bryce being small, and I remember me saying, "Hey, I think Stroud is the safest QB, but I didn't think his ceiling was as high. I thought Bryce, I thought he was maybe not the riskiest because Anthony Richardson is the riskiest QB, but I thought Bryce overall quarterback play was better than everybody else. I thought he was just as a talent. I thought he was the best the best talented player there. I thought Will Levis was an interception turnover machine, and I didn't think that that he would really translate to because I thought that even though he had a big arm, he struggled with accuracy. So I just figured he'd be Josh Rosen like in a sense, like just not really connected and not really looking too good out there.
Right.
And all that proved to me is that outside of Anthony Richardson, we don't know it. We don't know anything about QBs. But soon as the season began, I started looking at CJ Stroud, and I was like, okay, this guy has some fire. And then one thing to know about a rookie QB that's playing well is it doesn't matter where he was picked at. Then his age instantly makes him a top 12 dynasty pick.
22 years old.
Yeah. So just the age alone, I think last week we were talking, and Will Levis started creeping up, and I told you, I said, hey, secretly, uh, if you can trade, this is our conversation. I said secretly, if you can trade Stroud for Levis, if you can trade Levis for Stroud right now and capitalize on all that hype, I said, even as a Titans fan, that's a deal I'd make. Because Stroud is, Stroud has showed us way more. And I think that even though Stroud had played well, I think the fact is that he had played better, or it was more eye-popping towards the beginning of the season. And his last couple of games, he looked like, a rookie a QB with talent, of course. So he still played well, but he just wasn't, he wasn't doing the eye-popping things he was doing at the beginning of the season.
Right.
So people are kind of cool. So I was like, oh, now is a good time to, try to capitalize on people that's cooled on Stroud. After
and
this
that's
last
before.
week,
So let's talk about this last week.
it was crazy. And listen, and last week I told you, I said, hey, he is now a top 8 dynasty pick. Top 8. After this last week, he is a top 4 dynasty pick. So
top 3.
If you're starting a dynasty right now, CJ Stroud doesn't make it past 4, guaranteed. Yeah. And like you said, possibly top 3.
Here's the thing.
But you have Patty, Allen, Burrow.
I'm not
Stroud.
putting Burrow in there. I'm good on Burrow. I'm good on Burrow.
I'm just giving you the argument.
Yeah. And I'm good on Hurts because I'm good on Hurts because of the running and the injury factor, and then the age of Stroud. Like so far, man, Stroud has 2,200 yards passing, 14 touchdowns, 1 INT. The 1 INT got me sold on this guy, and that's the big piece. He's very accurate. In this game versus a really good defense in Tampa Bay, he came back, won the game. He had 470 yards passing. He had 5 touchdowns, 0 INTs, 71% completion percentage. He was sacked 3 times. And look, we always talk about, do these QBs make players better? He has made players better. Nico Collins was left for dead, man. He was left for dead. This guy came and injected life into this guy. 36 receptions, 631 yards, 4 touchdowns. That's Nico Collins. He's a borderline wide receiver 1 in fantasy, wide receiver 2. He's made Nico Collins look great. And I don't think Nico Collins is all that. He's all right. The best receiver that Stroud is ever going to play with is not on the roster yet. He has made Tank Dell a known commodity. 28 receptions, 454 yards, 4 touchdowns. Dalton Schultz, a guy that people like Mr. Razman wasn't buying in a tight end premium league, talking about, oh, he's not worth a second. This guy has 33 receptions, 350 yards, 4 touchdowns. These are 3 guys that can potentially end up with close to 10 touchdowns apiece. I mean, they all don't get 10, but I'm saying they all have a potential to hit 10 touchdowns. The way that Stroud is going right now, he's only getting better. He's going to continue to get better. And after this breakout game, to get Stroud right now is very expensive. It's very expensive. And then you got guys like Noah Brown, who came out of nowhere and had 153 yards receiving in 1 game. So he has players. Robert Woods has been serviceable. So he makes people better, and that's what I look at. Just imagine if these guys were able to get a Marvin Harrison Jr. I'm not saying that they do. Just imagine if they had a receiver of that caliber, a guy that CJ Stroud can go to every single play and say, that's my guy, and we know that CJ Stroud is accurate. This guy's going to be good, man. He's going to be good. He's going to be a top dynasty asset. I don't think he goes top 5 in dynasty startups. But he's definitely going in the first round. He's definitely going in the first, because you're still going to have the guys that like Jalen Hurts more. You're going to have the guys that like Joe Burrow more. You're going to have the guys that foolishly think that Justin Jefferson should go in the first round. Receivers should never go in the first round. They should never go in the first round. I'd rather get the A.J. Browns and C.D. Lambs early second Garrett Wilsons, the Amon-Ra St. Browns. I'm not taking Jefferson or Chase in the first round. That's a mistake that people make in their dynasty startup drafts. That's just my opinion. What do I know?
And Mr. Manny, just combat you just a little bit. Mr. Dalton Schultz, first 3 games weren't that great. I had invested in him, so I knew that I couldn't play him. I was playing other tight ends over him. I think his 4th game he was doing all right, and then he had a couple of games where he was having some explosions. But those games are more so towards this half of the season than it was at the beginning half of the season. So when I'm telling you, hey, I don't think he's worth he's worth the second now, especially after that last game. But there was some causes to pause before. So he wasn't putting up gaudy numbers all year.
But the thing is, we had this conversation last week. We had this conversation last week.
We had this conversation last week, and I had not been looking at Schultz.
Oh, so you didn't know what you was talking about. You were just talking.
No, it was 2 weeks. No, I knew what I was talking about from the beginning of the season. I was like, this guy is not putting up. He's not worth a high second from what he did at the beginning of the season. So it's like, okay, I hadn't checked up on him these last 2 weeks. I mean, listen, I'm in a lot of leagues,
in a league where you get 2 points per catch. Give me the tight ends all day long. Like that's all I like to have in my flex. And it worked out for me this past week, having guys like Cole Kmet go crazy last 2 weeks. And when those things happen, you most likely win. Like if you have your solid wide receivers, your solid running backs, you have your quarterbacks, you get these tight ends in your flex. If they have a good week, you win. There's just a chance I'm willing to take instead of putting in a wide receiver or a running back like a Khalil Herbert or like a Michael Wilson, right? These guys don't produce, but if these tight ends get 5 receptions, that's 10 points off rip. Give me those chances all day long. I'm willing to bank on my tight end getting me 5 receptions. That's all I go for. 5 receptions equals 10 points. It's easy math. So anytime I'm in a super tight end premium, meaning it's 2 points per catch, sign me up for the tight ends. It doesn't even matter who the tight end is. Bellinger, he's now relevant again. Even if he's playing with DeVito got to go to somewhere, and he just might go to Bellinger. All I need is, like I said, 5 receptions. 5 receptions I'm in, and it's the same rules in Scott Fishbowl League. I put Ferguson in, and Ferguson, like in that league, the tight ends get more points. I think Ferguson got me like 33 points, and that made me relevant. I'm leading my league right now in Scott Fishbowl. I am the leader in the Pepsi division, so I am proud to represent Dynasty Overload. Yes, I'm leading that division right now, and I think I'm already qualified for the playoffs. I believe it's 12 wins with the median gets you. So I'm at 14-3 is my record. So I'm in the playoffs, and I'm looking forward to great things. I built my team off of really good running backs, stud running backs. I had Chubb. Chubb got hurt. CMC and Eckler are back. They're healthy. And then, of course, I invested in their handcuffs. You got to invest in your handcuffs. I got my tight ends and Kittle and Ferguson. So it's a great season so far for me and Scott Fishbowl. Hopefully the rest of the Dynasty Overload crew will be able to get in next year. So, yeah, we all believe that CJ Stroud is going to be a legit Dynasty asset. I'm interested to – I always say I'm done with, trying to do the whole startup thing, but sometimes you got to do a startup to kind of see where people are. So Will Levis, he's now became the starter. They've benched Tannehill. Levis is the guy the rest of the season, and we all knew it. They're playing Tampa Bay. What do you expect from Levis versus Tampa Bay?
I'm not sure it's going to look pretty. I know Tampa's going to want to make up for what they did last week. That and then the Titans, they're not good. The team's not good. So outside of D-Hop, who can't outrun anybody now, D-Hop can't beat almost any corner as far as like just on a go route. And they keep trying to do go routes for whatever reason, but that's not in his bag anymore. So because the Titans don't have anybody to stretch the field, I think it's going to be tough sledding for Levis. I think this is going to be the game he looks the worst in. I do think that.
I beg to differ. I think that this won't be the worst game. This is his third game. It can't be his worst game. I think his worst game was the last game he just played. I think this game might be his middle game. It's not going to be a 4 touchdown game, but we've just seen Stroud have a 5 touchdown game versus this same team. But I don't see Levis having that kind of
He
game. Now,
he has the better supporting cast, though. I think Tank Dell is
absolutely.
better than what you're giving him credit for. I think Nico is probably doing just as much or more than what DeAndre Hopkins is putting out right now. The Titans don't have a Schultz on the team, and we don't have anybody else either. That we don't have the offensive line that the Texans have, and we
What you're
don't have the
saying,
defense that the Texans have.
what you're saying about DeAndre Hopkins, I disagree.
Mm.
The first game with this dude, he had 3 touchdowns. I haven't seen Nico Collins do the same. So in 2 games, he's averaging 1.5 touchdowns. Nico Collins on the other end, how many touchdowns is he averaging in the last 2 games? So I understand he has Tank Dell. I understand he has Dalton Schultz. Yes, the supporting cast is better, but I believe that Levis should have a good game. Why? Because they have the King Henry back there in the backfield. They have Tajay Spears back in the backfield. They're gonna make teams. Teams are gonna play one-on-one on the outside. One-on-one on the outside means that DeAndre Hopkins, he's gonna eat. You can say he doesn't separate. You can say he doesn't do this. Throw the ball up. He's gonna win at least 50% of the time. And those are the chances I'm willing to take. So if you're going to play, so no more stack boxes, or even if you stack the box, Derrick Henry is going to be able to open things up for Levis. And all I'm looking for is for that one, it just takes one, that one play action, that one play action bomb. And Westbrook Akina, and see, we talk about, do these QBs make people better? Instantly, this dude came in and made everybody relevant. He unlocked, who's that? That slot receiver, Kyle Phillips.
Kyle Phillips.
Yep, he made that guy look good. He's a nobody. He's a jack. He made that guy look good. He made Hopkins look respectable. Now you got people buying Hopkins again in Dynasty. Then Westbrook Akina, he's been solid all season. Man, like Levis is a really good QB, and I believe until they get this guy a real offensive line and get him more weapons, you're not gonna get to see the best of Levis. Like, you're going to see flashes, but I think he has a better. I don't think he has his worst game of the season. That's my argument there.
I hope not.
Of course, Titans fan, tighten up. All right, so let's talk Jordan Love. Okay. Man, I don't know, man. They're 3-5 right now. They're playing Pittsburgh. Everybody was excited about Jordan Love. He's averaging, I mean, he has 1,700 yards passing, 12 touchdowns, 8 INTs. The greatest attribute for Jordan Love was he wasn't throwing picks to begin the year. He was what CJ Stroud is now in terms of protecting the ball and being accurate. He looked good those first 3 games. He's my QB in Scott Fishbowl, and he was getting me points those first 3 weeks, those first 4 weeks. Now, I don't know who Jordan Love is anymore. And if you sold Jordan Love when all the hype was there, you won. Now, I'm not saying that he's sell this guy. I think he gets one more chance next season. But because of this record, it could mean that you could have a chance to draft a really good QB. Mm-hmm. Are you buying, selling, or holding Jordan Love?
I am holding Jordan Love. I'd probably sell him if I got a really, really good price on him. But I think that Jordan Love is good money. And what I mean by that is I don't think that Green Bay invest in a quarterback unless they have a shot at the top 2. If they have a shot at Drake May or Caleb Williams, then they'd be fools not to kick the doors in on that. After seeing if Jordan Love stays at this same pace moving forward. But okay. I do believe in Jordan Love's talent. I just think it's just, the lows of a season. So I think maybe it's fool's gold, but I think that Jordan Love is good money. I do believe.
Okay. I got a rebuttal for you. So you believe that Caleb Williams and Drake May are the top 2 QBs in this rookie draft coming up, right?
Yep.
So the question for you is Sam Howell or these top 2 guys?
if we're talking Sam Howell are the top two guys, listen,
Mhm.
I would probably go. Well, it depends on their sizes. And how tall is Drake May?
I think he's pretty tall. He might be 6'5", maybe. I can
Well,
look that up right now.
the only reason I would go with one of those guys over Sam Howell is because of size. If nothing else that we've learned this year is size. QB size does matter. You know, we stopped thinking about it as much because of Tua and Hurts and you know guys like that. But even Tua has health issues at times.
Mhm.
Even Hurts has missed a game, and you know these small quarterbacks you know,
So I got the numbers for you.
go ahead.
So Drake May is 6'4", Caleb
Uh-huh.
Williams is 6'1", Bo Nix is 6'2", Spencer Rattler is 6'1". I'm just gonna put him in there because he just came
Yeah,
up with
go
the
ahead.
rest of these guys. Michael Penix Jr., who I love a lot, he's 6'3", and Quinn Ewers, he is 6'2". So these are some of the top guys that are gonna be potential, top picks. And you have a potential to
Yeah,
have
still,
up to.
I'm taking Drake May or Caleb Williams over Sam Howell in that sense. I am. So and you
So
know
you
how
don't
much I
pass.
like Sam Howell.
So you don't pass on Drake May and say, you know what? Let's go offensive line. Let's go another position. Let's trade back. It's Drake May.
Talking
Forget
about,
Caleb Williams.
talking about if I
If
talking
the
about if
Commanders
I
have
if I'm the Commanders.
if you're the Commanders, you got the number 2 pick. Do you give up on do you say no to Drake May and you keep building, or you say, hey, Drake May, and we'll just trade Sam Howell to somebody else?
I I would say then it depends on the offers that you get. So if you're getting a huge offer for Sam Howell and you can get a Drake May, maybe. But what I would probably do, more likely, or what I would do is I would keep Sam Howell and I would move. I would get an offer for Drake May. I would move down or
That's what
something
I
like
would do.
that. I wouldn't just take an offensive line there, but I would keep Sam and then I would, you know. But that's if I'm the Commanders. We're talking
Mhm.
about if we are the Packers.
No, no, no. I
We're,
get it. I get it. I get it. But it's just an interesting topic because I had
it
this.
is an
Me
interesting
and
topic.
Shilor was talking, and Caleb Williams, Sam. I mean, come on, you go get Caleb Williams. But outside of Caleb Williams, for me, a lot of these other guys. I'm not saying that all these guys are created equally, but at the end of the day, who's going to protect you? So for the Commanders' sake, they just need offensive line. You trade back, you acquire more assets. Maybe you trade that pick and you get a first this year, a first next year, a second, a third. Get whatever you can to make your team better, and then you attack the offensive line both in free agency and the draft. I'm going to talk 2 more guys, and we'll go ahead and get this show wrapped up. So you see, like the trend of the show, we really had no show notes, but we just wanted to flow. And you're seeing that we're hitting a lot of these QBs. Joe Burrow. What is your take on Joe Burrow? Do you still think that Joe Burrow is a top 3 pick in dynasty startups? Do you think that Joe Burrow is still on that same level with Mahomes and Josh Allen? What's
Yeah,
your take on Joe Burrow right now?
yeah, I love Joe Burrow. I think Joe Burrow is awesome, man. And I think that you know, right now is a good time to try to capitalize and maybe trade for him because so many people are down on him because of how his season
Mm-hmm.
started. That the season started, he had it I forget the calf injury. He had the calf
Mm-hmm.
injury, and you know, while that's in people's minds right now, and you know, Higgins wasn't playing, so they had a couple of roster issues, and they're still trying to solidify that offensive line.
Yep.
Because of that, you know, people are a little down on him. But I think that Joe Burrow is good money. I was
Mm-hmm.
initially scared of him because of the two knee injuries he had.
Yeah.
But you know, it looks pretty healthy now. So hey, I'm
Mm-hmm.
going
It
Joe
looks
Burrow.
good.
Joe Burrow is my QB3. And but listen, QB3, but I am um, between him and Stroud. Between him and Stroud right now. But right now I'm probably still go with Joe Burrow because I like the pieces around him.
Yeah, my QB3, for the same reasons you like the pieces around Joe, I like the pieces around Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts is my QB3. Even with the rushing and the injury upside with these running QBs, man, Jalen Hurts is just, man, he's just as good as a runner as he is a passer. And I mean, AJ Brown is just playing unbelievable right now. And eventually, Devonta Smith starts to play up to his level of play. So rapid fire, I'm going to give you a QB, and you just tell me if you're buying, selling, or holding, and then that'll be the end of the show. Deshaun Watson, sell, buy, hold.
Selling.
Same. Matter of fact, I want to just trash him. You trash. I'm not. Baker Mayfield.
Oh, selling.
I'm only buying if I'm desperate, but I'm definitely selling. And if I got him and I need him, I'm holding. So,
Right.
yeah, but for the most part, sell. You sell high on that guy. Trevor Lawrence.
I am buying. I'm buying.
I think I'm buying as well. He's the confusing one, to be honest, but I'm buying. I still believe he has a chance to be a top tier dynasty QB. Brock Purdy.
Buying for decent price. If I can buy him cheap, I'm buying. If not, I'm just holding.
Gotcha.
It's got to be cheap though.
If I have him, I'm selling. I just don't know what it is with me and Brock Purdy. I have no shares. I've sold every share I had, and I'm kind of sad I sold early, but I maximized and I was able to hit on a few draft picks. When I was selling, it was for third because he was still fresh, he was still new, and then I had excess QBs. I wish I would have kept him because he is a pretty good quarterback. He is a good quarterback. I can't lie, but I have no shares of Brock Purdy, and if I had him, I'm maximizing right now. I'm maximizing. People are loving Brock Purdy. I think he's a jag. I think he is a guy that fits well with their system. You put him in another system, and he definitely doesn't produce like this. My thing is, do they pay this guy? That's what it all boils down to me. Like, I don't know if they pay this guy, but he's young enough, he's good enough in that system. But for me, I'm selling Purdy all day long.
Somebody's going to pay him. Somebody's going to give him an opportunity if the 49ers choose to move on from him. But I do agree with you. I do think he's a jag. I just think in that offense, as long as he's in that offense, he's worth the price of admission.
I agree. Derek Carr, buy, sell, hold.
Hold.
Sell. Kirk Cousins.
The contract, he's a hold. Kirk Cousins. I'm buying right now because he's hurt. I'm buying.
I'm buying, man. He's so cheap right now. Well, Aaron Rodgers.
Hold.
I would buy if it's like a second and a third, late second and late third. That's the price for me right now, or even a late second. I would buy that and just kind of hold and just kind of see but if I have him, I'm definitely holding. But if I'm trying to acquire,
he's 39, if not 40. He's coming off an Achilles injury. If I got him, I'll hold because I'll try to, if I have him anywhere, then that means that I was trying to win this year. But other than that,
anybody that's willing to give me Aaron Rodgers for a late second, I'm buying. So if you have Aaron Rodgers right now and you want a late second,
that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm in the hole, because I wouldn't sell him for a late second, but I wouldn't buy him.
But
I wouldn't buy him. Listen, I wouldn't buy him for a late second either. I'd buy him for a late second. I wouldn't buy him for early second though. For early second,
a late second just makes too much sense. Like, this guy is going to have major games. If he ever gets healthy, he's going to have major games. And I'd rather have an Aaron Rodgers.
Nobody's going to sell him for a late second though.
I'll find somebody.
That's why I said he's a hole.
I will. Look, I'm about to put the thing into my sleeper app and just who has them, and I'm just going to send off plenty deals for a second.
It's funny because I've been sending Aaron Rodgers deals like for a throw in.
Right.
So if somebody needs a QB, I'll trade you an active QB. You give me Aaron Rodgers in a pick. Right. Nobody's moving off of Aaron Rodgers, and I'm like, well, I can't buy him for nothing other than that.
I feel you. And then let's do two more, and then we'll go ahead and end it. Joshua Dobbs.
Selling.
Yeah, I'm definitely selling. I cannot get around to buying this guy. Even if I need him, I'm not buying. He's been a phenomenal talent. I've enjoyed this guy. This guy has gotten me plenty wins in the leagues where I have Kyler Murray or I just had no QBs or whatever the case may be. This guy has kept me relevant, man. So yeah, absolutely. I am selling. I got a deal today for a 26 second But for me, it doesn't help. And then the guy that I would make that deal to, I'm trying to surpass him in the playoffs. But I'll do a 25-second. Why not? But it's just one of those things where I don't want to help that guy.
I understand.
You know, and Dobbs is a top 10 quarterback and possibly will be a top 10 the rest of the way. That Russian upside is just too great. Now, the last guy that I have on the list, Geno Smith.
Oh, he's a hold.
Okay. For me, he's a sell. I sold him for Treylon Burks, who I don't know why I keep buying. Treylon Burks in the 25-second. I think that was a good price for a guy that I don't even trust. I don't even know what happens to Geno moving forward. So
they got you on that one.
He got me on that one.
They got you on that one.
Hey, well, in that league, I had Stroud already. I was a potentially rebuilding team, so I made the deal.
Okay.
And
it makes
I said,
sense now.
Yeah. I don't trust. I don't trust Geno. Where I got him is he's a hold, but man,
if you are a rebuilding team, sell Geno.
Yep.
If you are rebuilding, sell Geno as fast as you can. Mm-hmm. He's not guaranteed to be on that roster next year. You know, I do think he will be the starter, but they'll probably draft
somebody in the mid-rounds.
Next year.
Yeah.
So
And in that league, I have CJ Stroud. I have Jared Goff, who I believe in. You don't believe in golf. I believe in golf. But that'll be another conference.
I like golf. Let's talk about golf.
Let's talk about golf. Okay.
So I like golf. I just don't believe. I don't believe that golf is as talented as I think the teams have gotten more out of golf than his talent really is. I think he's a good guy. I think he's a good leader in but I do think that golf is hovering around his ceiling. I think he's been hovering around his ceiling, and I don't believe that Detroit thinks that they can win big with him. I think that they're
winning big with this guy. Go look at the last 20 games.
Well, let's go see what happens in the playoffs. I mean, because
we'll see.
Are we just trying to be competitive and pretty, or are we trying to win it all?
So here's the thing.
And this is a problem that the Tennessee had with Tannehill, and all the Titans fans always defended Tannehill. Hey, we're getting to the playoffs where we went to the AFC Championship game twice, but every time we went to the playoffs, Tannehill's numbers were terrible. If Derrick Henry didn't have a great game, the Titans lost. And it seems the same to me with Jared Goff. It's when they get to the playoffs, for some reason he's throwing interceptions. Some reason he just doesn't look as good as he does in the regular season. And if your quarterback doesn't step up, then what you're telling me is you really have a QB deficiency. And that's what I think that is going on with Goff. But I do think Goff is a good QB. I like him. I really like him as a person.
Here's
what I know.
Here's a crazy thing. Goff has the potential to lead the Lions to the Super Bowl this year. And yeah, it sounds laughable, but this is a darn good team. A team that's built with the offensive line. They have great receivers. They have a great offensive scheme. This is a really good team. It's a really good team. Yeah. I'm excited for this team. What happens if Jared Goff gets this team to the Super Bowl? You can say, oh, well, he's Jimmy G.
I'm going to tell you who he is. Mm-hmm. He's that the guy that the Ravens got to the Super Bowl with. You know what I'm talking about?
Trent Dilfer?
No.
Joe Flacco?
Flacco.
Oh, no.
He is Flacco. You give Flacco this crazy contract, and then that's the albatross around your neck that ends up sinking your team moving forward. And that's what happened with Ryan Tannehill. We got to the AFC Championship. We gave him this contract, and then he was an albatross moving forward. That was putting us in salary cap hell because he couldn't elevate us in the playoffs. And
so my question to you is this:
can't do that.
My question to you is this: if Goff goes on and wins Super Bowl this year, then what?
Uh-huh.
Then what? What happens to his backup?
If Goff wins the Super Bowl this year, then Goff is going to get paid. He's going to get a long-term contract, and Detroit is finished. But
And see,
listen,
that's the thing.
but
Like,
listen, but you did win the chip. So to me, it would be worth it. Like even if you go 5 years and you guys aren't competing at the top level anymore, that's fine because
right,
you
it's
got your
Stafford.
chip.
Yep. Yep. So the thing is with these QBs, right? You're gonna have QBs that are borderline. There's not a lot of elite QBs. So elite QBs just throw up, just you just don't get those anymore. Okay. Then you have these guys that are above average. There's a bunch of above average guys. And eventually these guys will start winning Super Bowls. You can't tell me that the same elite guys keep winning every year. No, that's not going to be the case. You can have Joe Burrow might not win this year. Mahomes might not win this year. Who else is elite? Let's say Josh Allen doesn't win. Let's just say those three, right?
Right.
Let's say Jalen Hurts does not win. Guess what? You know what's left? Above average guys. Somebody's going to win. And once that starts to happen, their resume goes crazy. Oh, man, Jared Goff has been to 2 Super Bowls and won one. Wow. He's getting into the elite stat. And that's what they're going to start saying. Jared Goff, is he elite? I don't think he's elite. I think he's a good quarterback. But that's going to be the conversation that you're going to hear. You're going to hear, oh, Jared Goff has done what Phillip Rivers couldn't do. He's right there with Eli Manning. I don't think Eli is elite. He's really good, but he's not elite. So you're going to have these conversations. Let's say he messed around and win 2 Super Bowls. Then you're hearing that this guy is one of the greatest QBs to ever play the game. And it's just not fair.
And I'll say it too. But you realize team and situation makes has a lot to do with it. And I just think the problem for golf is going to be next year. Like so, say they fizzle out playoffs this year. I think next year when Hooker is available, and I think if you see Hooker in preseason and Hooker looks good or at least decent enough to anchor the team, because I think isn't Golf a free agent after this year?
I'm not sure. I think he's a free agent for a while.
I think he's a free agent after this year.
They'll be goofy to let this guy go. That's all I'm saying.
I don't think they're going to let him. The thing is, if this is his contract year, and he's not re-signed already, then I think that says something.
Here's the thing. You got to take a lesson from guys like Seattle. They could let Geno go. Oh, Geno won, 1 year out of 9 years. He does this, he does that. And had they let Geno go and they grabbed one of these guys from, one of these rookies, I don't see a rookie, of course, like the top 3, but I don't see a rookie that comes into that offense and helps them. Geno's helping them, helping these guys win games. And you re-sign him for that purpose. Now, when this guy starts to be a liability, like let's say Jimmy G became a liability because he was ineffective, 1, and number 2, he was hurt. This guy has done nothing to lose his job. I don't care how good Hendon Hooker is. I don't care how good Hendon Hooker can be to say, I'm going to go to this young guy. You better be sure that he's not Trey Lance. You better be sure that this guy is the next best thing for you to give up on a good QB. Like the Rams did. The Rams said, you know what? We're going to go with an old vet, old reliable. We know who Stafford is. We're going to get away from Jared Goff. And then Stafford wasn't the reason they won a Super Bowl.
So check this out.
He was the reason they got there, but he wasn't the reason that they won it.
So I was wrong. So Goff's last year is next year. They can cut him this year, and they only owe $5 million. So I believe he's going to get next year. But I think the next year is going to be telling if it's going to be Hooker's team or if it's going to be Goff's team. I believe the Goff is going to be moving on because I do believe that Hooker is going to bring more to the table. I think that Hooker is going to be the future in Detroit. I truly believe that. And I think that Goff is going to go somewhere. And the good thing about Goff, and the thing I do like about Goff is he's not without talent. He's just not upper echelon quarterback. but he's not without talent. So you can win with him. I mean, the man has been to a Super Bowl.
That's what I'm saying.
He's been to a Super Bowl. Now you check his stats and you see why they didn't win that Super Bowl. But at the same time,
like you said, it's a team thing, right? So it's
a team thing. But as soon as he left that team won the Super Bowl.
Yeah. So
with the quarterback that you say is not good in Stafford.
Yeah, I mean, but he wasn't the reason why they won. It was the defense. You go look at the tape. The tape doesn't lie. It was the defense.
The defense is the reason they got there the first time. They got there with Goff. So
don't know about
that. Go and look. That defense, the defense was good, and that's
so that defense was better than this defense here.
What do you mean? What defense?
So the defense that won it. What was better, the defense that won it or the defense that didn't win it?
I think that's apples and oranges.
Because this defense that won it, they were legit. Like Von Miller was the difference maker. I'm getting somewhere with this.
Okay.
Von Miller was the difference maker. No Von Miller. Look how they look when he left. So and look how the Bills look when they're fully healthy.
I just think the defense aged out. You know, we're talking about a matter of years. I think the defense started to age out, and then they were paying contracts, how much they were paying guys. I just think the team started to age out. Your window is only open for so long. I think the Rams did a good job in trading away Goff and getting a quarterback that they thought was going to help them be able to win a Super Bowl, and I think that paid off.
But here's the thing too. The Jared Goff Super Bowl, the offense was built off of Todd Gurley and Goff. It wasn't just Goff.
Yeah.
On the other end,
Gurley was the offense.
He was the offense. So you can't really just put it on Goff. This new offense,
I'm telling you, that Gurley was the offense because you couldn't depend on Goff.
Right, but this new offense is different. It's two different offenses. This new offense was even Van Jefferson, even Robert Woods. When Robert Woods gets hurt, OBJ, that offense was predicated on the passing game. They pass. That offense didn't run. I can't even remember. I can't even tell you the running back from that Super Bowl team.
Because they had a quarterback that didn't have to rely on the run as much.
And they had a legendary Cooper Kupp.
Okay. Was Kupp on the team with Goff?
Absolutely. Was he? That's good. That's a good one. I can't remember, to be honest. He probably was. I cannot remember, bro. I'm pretty sure he was.
I'm thinking he was.
I remember a lot of Robert Woods. I remember, wasn't Brandon Cooks on the team? Wasn't Brandon Cooks on the team?
Let me go and look. At that.
I can't remember.
Roster.
I cannot remember.
I'm looking up Stafford's or
Golf. We know who Stafford had. I want to say it was Brandon Cooks. That's what I want to say. But yeah, these are the debates that we have. Yeah,
sorry guys, I'm not as fast as other people's are. So I'm looking up the looking it up now.
Yeah, and then you can look at when Cooper Kupp came in the league. I'll look that up. But yeah, I don't remember Cooper Kupp even being a factor in that first Super Bowl. So I would say, I would go out on a limb and say it was Van Jefferson, Robert Woods, and possibly Brandon Cooks. That's what I would say.
And listen, I can't say that you're wrong.
Yeah. So
what year was it?
I don't even know.
Hold on, let's get it. I mean, we didn't talk it up. Let's get it. So I think 2019. So 2019 Super Bowl stats.
All right, 2019 Super Bowl. Wow, the score was 13-3. Man, that was an ugly game. And everybody wants to blame Goff for that one.
Why? Because he couldn't get you more 3 points?
Hey, Goff didn't look so bad.
He did
29 yards and the interception.
How many touchdowns?
Gurley, Brandon Cooks. It was Brandon Cooks with 8. receptions, 120. Robert Woods, 5 for 70. So, yes, Cooper Kupp is him, okay? Brandon Cooks played a great game. Brandon Cooks was great all season.
Hold
But
on,
there's a
was Kupp
huge
not
gap.
was Kupp not on the team?
I don't even see him in the top 5, 6, 7 guys getting receptions here. I see Brandon Cooks. I see Woods. I see Reynolds. I see C.J. Anderson. I see Gerald Everett, and I see Gurley. There's no way that Kupp wouldn't have a catch. So Kupp wasn't even here. I say all this to say
Kupp is old, so he had to be on the team.
How can he be here?
He may have just been hurt.
You can say he's old. Kupp has not been in the league that long.
That's true.
Go look it up.
I agree. No, I agree.
Yeah, he's
old, but he hadn't been in the league that
long. He's a
95-year-old.
He's been in the league for like 4 or 5 years. But yeah, it is what it is, man. Great episode of Dynasty Overload.
We're going to revisit this too.
Yes, absolutely. We covered a lot of different topics. For those who came on from the top of the show, was doing Lakers, was doing the NBA. I did Commanders, then Dynasty at the very end. So you guys be sure to follow the Dynasty Overload podcast on all social media platforms. Check me out on TikTok. I'll be doing several trade analysis and as well as somebody had a question for Dynasty Overload crew. They said, is Noah Brown a real thing?
No.
Yeah, he's not a real thing. That's my opinion. I think he's just going to be a guy that you can plug and play. And as long as Robert Woods, that same Robert Woods from that Rams team, as long as he's not there, Noah Brown becomes that number 3 guy behind Nico Collins and Tank Dell. And when we talk about this guy making people better, man, I don't care. This dude made Noah Brown career high 153 yards and a touchdown.
Kupp was on the team. He must have been hurt. He had 94 receptions for 1,161 yards that year.
2019?
Or you know what? Maybe we need to say 2018.
Maybe.
So maybe it was 2018 regular season, 2019.
Doesn't matter. There's just no way that Kupp will be there and not have a reception. So whether he was hurt,
he was on the team.
There,
he was on the team.
So he went to Super Bowl.
He went to Super Bowl.
That's very interesting. That's very well. I guess that's the reason they lost. No Kupp, no ring.
They lost because Goff couldn't move the offense.
With no Kupp,
wasn't doing anything.
With no Kupp, no Kupp, no ring.
Get out of here, man.
No Kupp, no ring, man.
Hold on. This is where I'm gonna stop you at. Brandon Cooks and Robert Woods were 1,000 yards receivers, right?
So how can Kupp be on the team?
But I'm just saying they were 1,000 yards.
Kupp was on the team. You just told me that Kupp had 94 receptions for what?
No, I said that may have been for the 19 season. Don't try to stop me. Don't try to stop me.
Okay. So you just talking out of the back end.
No. Cooks and Robert Woods, 1,000-yard receivers, right?
I mean, you tell me. You got the stats in front of you. You tell me.
Yes, I don't know if they had 1,000 yards that season. I'm just saying both of those guys have had multiple 1,000-yard receivers. Okay. I'm telling you, that man had the receivers to be able to do something. If he was good enough quarterback to get it
what
done.
You're telling me is that Robert Woods and Brandon Cooks is better than Cooper Kupp, OBJ.
No, I'm telling you, Robert Woods and Brandon Cooks is good enough for a good quarterback to be able to move the ball and get more than 3 points.
What I'm saying is that they're not what the other guys had. So that's my argument.
That's apples and oranges. We're talking about a quarterback that you feel like can win you a Super Bowl, and a quarterback.
There's a difference between good and elite. He didn't have elite receivers. I'm not saying
it's not the elite receivers. I said I think that Goff is hovering at his ceiling. This is the most you can get out of him. I don't think that he elevates people more or above where they could be. I think Stafford does that in a better way. And this is the dichotomy that I'm telling you that I think that Detroit.
I haven't seen Stafford elevate anybody. That's the thing.
How did you not see him elevate anyone when Kupp had his best seasons with Stafford?
Okay, I mean, he's only really played with Stafford. Like
no. He's only played with Stafford for what, 2 years, right?
Okay, 2 years.
Okay, so he's all right. Hold on, let me give it to you. I'm gonna tell you how long Kupp's been playing,
and healthy too. Because I know he missed the whole season.
I'm gonna tell you how long Kupp's been playing. I was just looking at his stats. So he's been in the league since 2017.
Mm-hmm. And how
He's
many
been in the
games?
league for this is his 7th year.
Okay. And how many games has he played per season? That's a big piece.
Well, he's played the majority of most of these seasons here. I mean, you can just tell by his receptions. He got hurt. He didn't play a lot this year. He didn't play a lot last year. He got 75. He had 75 receptions last year. So he was gonna. Okay, so it's three. So this is his 3rd year with Stafford. He had by far his best year, Stafford's 1st year, and then he was leading. He had 75 receptions with only half of the season played the 2nd year. So I mean, the guy with Stafford is a different breed.
So
He listen. He doubled his yards with Stafford than what he did with Goff.
Okay, so he played with Goff. 19, right?
Or 17, 18, 19, and 20.
Okay, so in 17 he played 15 games.
Okay,
his rookie season. All right, he doesn't know anything at that point. All right, second season he played 8 games.
Okay,
so he was unhealthy. All right, now 2019 he plays a full season, 94 receptions, 1,000 yards. Okay, 2020 he plays 15 games. Didn't look so good. He regressed, right? Even though he had 124 targets.
Somebody regressed.
Yeah. So
somebody regressed.
Okay, he regressed, and he didn't have a great season. Now 2021 he has this amazing, miraculous season, almost 2,000 yards, right? With your guy Stafford.
Not with my guy, with Stafford.
Yeah, with your guy. That's your guy. Then the next season, he was on his way to having a good season, got hurt, right? 9 games.
Having another historically great season.
So in his career, how many 1,000-yard seasons does he have?
Yeah, it's 3.
He has 2.
I mean 2. That's 2.
Okay, so he had 1 with Goff.
Oh man, you listen. Never mind, Manny. Never mind, man.
Right.
Never mind.
I rest my case, Your Honor.
Which one did he get 2,000 yards with? Manny, you lost.
Of course, with Stafford. That's not a coincidence. I mean, it's there, right?
It's not even comparison. It's not even comparable.
It's comparable. So this year, what happens this year?
Not even comparable.
What happens this year? Your guy Stafford is out, and my guy is still playing, right?
Mm-hmm. And he's not looking like, he's not putting up the numbers he put up with Stafford. Correct.
But Stafford played.
Listen, this is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. If Stafford's on the field and Kupp is on the field, then for whatever reason, Kupp is an all-time great receiver.
Look,
and then when he's not on the field, when Stafford's not on the field and Kupp is on the field, Kupp is just a really good receiver.
So Kupp was on the field 4 games with this guy.
Okay.
You remove the last game. He has 1 touchdown. But he's an all-time great receiver.
Why we removing the last game?
Okay, keep the last game. Okay. So in 4 games, 1 touchdown with your miraculous, great superstar QB. 1 touchdown. With Stafford, what's the problem?
What was the receptions?
Receptions, he has 23. 23.
Yeah, 23.
He has 364 yards.
Okay.
1 touchdown.
Okay, cool.
But you tell me he looks like some
because people go on touchdown drops.
Oh,
that's not saying a lot.
Okay.
What I'm telling you, he looks a lot better with Stafford than he looked with Goff.
Okay.
And if you can't see that, you need to clear your eyes.
No, for 1 season. Yeah, you're right. For 1 season.
2 seasons.
Like we would never know.
But 2 seasons.
We would never know. He got hurt. But yeah, man, that's the end of the episode, man. I got things to do. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. We'll catch you guys on the next one.
He'll lose again next week, guys. Peace.